Good afternoon, Wise board members. I am Declan Weatherall.
I'm Iman Park.
Christian Min.
And I'm Hayden Luke, and we're here to talk to you about why Singapore can become wiser by joining with us. So starting off with a general statement of the problem, we as consultants are trying to help you at Wise to find potential markets that are unaware of Wise's asset feature and turn it into the goal of increasing the common knowledge of the asset feature in multiple markets, such as Singapore. And we can achieve this by overcoming and completing the tasks of introducing and supplementing brand recognition for Wise in these markets, as well as adapting the cultural differences of these countries, differentiating Wise from alternatives in the same service, and then lastly, advocating Wise's unique selling propositions. Looking at Singapore's community background, starting off in the economic sector, we can see that the median monthly household income is just under $8,000 in 2020. Furthermore, the GDP per capita is around $60,000 in 2020, and in the same year, the average disposable income was around $30,000 per capita annually. So as you can see, Singapore is a great place to target citizens that are financially comfortable and have the excess money to spend in investing, as well as just going on foreign trips as well. Looking at demographics, Singapore has a wide variety of races and cultures in its body. Citizens from China, Malaysia, India, Vietnam, and Thailand are all present there. Furthermore, there's a total population of 5.7 million, and the country actually has a very high fertility rate, especially in women ages 30 to 34. Geographically, we can recognize that Singapore is in close proximity to the Malay Peninsula, Johor Strait, Singapore Strait, as well as Indonesia, another growing country. It is also west of the South China Sea and very prone, unfortunately, to seasonal floods and monsoons, as well as rising sea levels. So you may be asking, why Singapore? What makes Singapore the country that we should focus our efforts on in expanding Wise and the asset feature? Well, I think it all revolves around that Singapore is the leading economic force in its proximity to other nations surrounding it. And those other nations are currently lesser developed countries, such as said before, Vietnam, Thailand, Bangladesh, Indonesia. And these lesser developed countries have a high dependency on these urban centers, such as Singapore, parts of China, and South Korea as well. And the main reason because of this is of cheap exploitation of low-wage labor that contributes to the development of the advanced countries. So this means that rural laborers from other countries are coming into these urban centers for higher paying wages to make a living. And because of that, they're probably going to need an exchange rate for currency going there as well as coming back. And they would really appreciate Wise's exchange rate as well as the asset feature as well, because it would be additionally supporting to the growth of the remittance that these families are received from the laborers who work in the developed countries. Furthermore, the investment can be supported by the instability of the natural disasters such as the monsoons, as I said before, as well as these laborers who commute to these developed urbanized centers just so they can make a living for them and their family. They have limited contact with their family, so they don't want to come back empty-handed.
Thanks, Hayden. Singapore is a densely populated city-state, and they're often referred to as the Las Vegas of the East for their rich culture. Their primary languages include English, Chinese, Tamil, and Malay. They are a capitalistic society with a focus on international trade and e-commerce. They're a unitary state with a single-body parliament and a constitutional republic. As you can see on your left, this is Singapore's major import sources throughout the globe, with China, Malaysia, and the United States being the biggest ones. Singapore would be a great place to start up the asset program because they're a stable government and free market economy. And Wise is currently established within Singapore. Also, they're highly diverse with international traffic and they take almost all currencies. Some weaknesses that we see within Singapore is the stiff competition between competitors and the top-heavy population with stalling exports. Keep in mind, there's an increase in cybersecurity and terrorism threats globally. So yes, this is a problem, but we don't see it as a big issue moving forward. Now we'll get into our marketing campaigns and how we will attack the Singaporean population. We will use social media marketing, commercial marketing, and a marketing outreach program to hit all walks of life within Singapore. Now I will pass it on to Iman.
Our first marketing tactic involves social media and will target young investors and businessmen between the ages of 18 and 24. These individuals are the most highly influenced target group by the internet, and they will be exposed to sponsored posts on all social media platforms, such as Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and more, for approximately 1 month duration. Temporary benefits provided to these individuals are they will be given up to 3 free international exchanges, in other words, no service fees, and an increased balance return rate upon 3 valid referrals from the iShares World Equity Index managed by BlackRock. Our second marketing tactic is commercial and will target the Singapore Financial District as well as the Financial Hub. The goal is to endorse WISE and the newly successful asset program in billboards, city screens, and location-based GPS advertisements found in video games or social media platforms like Snapchat. This will commence exposure to WISE and the asset program to the most relevant target region where it is filled with individuals who are financially savvy and financially interested and would be the most involved in international currency exchanges. For these individuals, up to 3 international exchanges will be serviced with no charge. And last but not least, our third marketing tactic is an outreach program. Our targets are the largest businesses and LLCs in the Singaporean region, and we're aiming for a trickle-down effect into its subsidiaries. Our first step is to reach out to the top 5 international Singaporean businesses and provide further reduced exchange fees, even at an operational loss, to gain dependence and increase market share of WISE among international currency exchanges. Third step is to instill the asset program among these 5 international businesses once we've created a solid foundation, and then further encourage the endorsement of the asset program among the top 5 subsidiaries, which is the trickle-down effect that should affect the region.
For our budget, we are focusing our resources on online advertisement, physical marketing, and commercial sales. Our online advertisement is projected to cost roughly $200,000 and will promote dense growth in the assets program. Our physical marketing will be approximately $100,000 and will bring about widespread growth through the acquisition of new customers. We have budgeted $300,000 for our commercial sales, which will incorporate large businesses and corporations into the assets program and bring about a reliance of these businesses on the said program. Our success will be determined by numerous factors. Firstly, the number of new, frequent, and referred customers to both the transfer and asset system will show the traffic in the system. The net income ratio will show the amount of profits acquired. We will see how the WISE's market share in Singapore will differ from the current, the change in volume of exchanges in comparison to our competitors. We will look at the retention of customers over a 5-year period. And finally, the impact of WISE's expansion through the assets program on other countries and regions surrounding Singapore. We hope that in the next 5 years, we will see an increased brand awareness among many of the top firms globally and even locally in Singapore. We expect an increase in the number of consumers of WISE and hope to gain people from outside the current pool. We see an increase in the usage of Wise for currency exchange and a reliance by consumers on the system. The asset program will successfully be installed in Singapore within these 5 years. And we hope for the unveilment of the Wise asset credit cards for daily use by our current local loyal customers.
Thank you, Wise Board members, for your time. Please let us know if you have any further questions. We hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
You guys.
Thank you, Wise.